Now, as we've already seen, for loop is used to iterate over elements on a sequence, and it depends on the elements which it has to iterate over. So let's say we have a list, x is equal to say 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and say we want to iterate and print out all this one by one. So we'll say for any variable, for example temp in x, and we'll just print temp. So what will happen here is each time element one by one would be assigned to this variable temp, starting with 1, 2, 3, and then one by one the print statement will keep executing. So as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the 5 elements have been covered. So this is pretty easy way to iterate over the elements of sequence. Now let's have a quick check so we know that you are learning along, right? So say we have a list from 1 till 10, and we want to only print even numbers from this list. What should we do? Exactly, there are multiple ways, but the most popular one or the easy one is you simply check whether mod of 2 is equal to 0. That means it's even. If it's true, then print it. So we are using if conditions within for, and if the condition is true, we'll print it. Okay. Now with that, we are going to look into another very important function, which is range. It is used to generate sequence of numbers. The basic syntax is range, start, stop, step size. You remember we have already done that in slicing, right? Slicing with step. So it is the same thing, and this is really helpful because it will help you to create any random number of data elements. If you want to just create a random sequence, you can just use the range. Okay, and it generates a number on the go. So we will see what does it mean. So the syntax is very simple. Um, the range is the keyword, the function. The first argument is the starting, the second one is the stop, and the third one is the step size. So in this case, we are saying create a list, and we are assigning, please note, we'll come to it why we are using this keyword list here. Okay, this is related to this point which we mentioned, generates a number on the go. But for some time, let's say we are just using range 0 till 6 with a step size of 1, and then let's say we print it. So as you can see, it has 6 elements and all is spaced by 1, starting with 0, right? Now I told you that this is very handy if you want to generate any number, any sequence, right? For example, rather than using for, and then we last time, if you'll see, we were going through a list which was x, right? And it was a hard-coded value that we have created just before. Now rather than that, we could also use range. So we can say for I, and then say in range 061. So this range 061 is nothing but actual representation of list 0 till 5, right? And then if we print it, we will get the same output, correct? So this is the power. It really makes it so easy to work with random sequence of numbers. Now, coming back to the point where we mentioned why do we need a keyword list and what do we mean by generate the number on the go. Please note that if we would use this range 0 to 61, uh, this actually starts outputting all the numbers when it is used inside a list. If you don't use it inside list, say we simply say print range and say I'll use the same values to make it easy, 0, 6, and 1. You will see the output is not 0 to 5 as expected because Python would like to have the optimized utilization of its resources, of its cache. So if you were going to create all the numbers are predefined, then it's going to take a lot of memory because say if you want to create a data set with say million records, so what it will do is it will keep it as it is. But once you put that into a list or something similar, then that's where it knows that okay, all the numbers will be created, assigned, and the list will be created. So that it's Python's way of giving you a little more optimization. And let's run it. So in this case, I change it to 10, 0, and -1. As we know, if we start a minus number in the step size, then the order is reversed. So rather than going from 1 to 10, now we'll go from 10 to 1. And the step size remains -1 only. If you want it to be separated by alternate values, then give the step size of 2. And when you will run it, you will see it just takes every alternate even number starting with 10, 10, 8, 6, 4, and 2, right? So I think with that, range is pretty clear to you. Let's have a quick question and then we'll move forward. What will be the output when this code is executed? Print list range 10 to 0 minus 2. We have seen this just in our example, so I hope you should be able to answer it. Yes, the answer would be first option, because we are giving minus 2, then it will start in the reverse order. It will start from higher to lower and with a step size of 2. So output would be 10, 8, 6, 4, and 2. Okay, let's take one more example. Here we have to print all even numbers from 1 to 100, including using range. So let's see how to do it. We know in range we have a start, a stop, and a step size. So in this case, we have to cover all the even numbers from 1 to 100. So of course we cannot start from 1. So we'll start from 2. Then the stop is always one index before. So that means we will use 101 as the stop so that 100 gets covered. And then we have to give the step size of 2. So that means we will be using for I in range 2 to 101, comma 2, and then print. This is going to print us all the even numbers from 1 to 100. This is exactly similar what we've also seen in indexation and slicing. So as we'll go along and we'll see more functions and couple of more such challenges, we will see how handy it is to use range. So with that, let's move on to the next topic.